week's video I'm gonna talk about the RF 35mm f1.8. But first, I think I need a haircut. Yeah, that's better. When you come from an APS-C camera and you want to upgrade to a full frame, at least when it comes to Canon, the EOS R was the first full frame mirrorless camera that Canon had to offer. Now they have released the R5 and R6 with the problems that comes with those cameras, even though some of the problems they've gotten better with the firmware update. If you don't have that much money to spend on a full frame camera and you want to upgrade to a Canon camera, the EOS R is your best bet. The problem with full frame cameras like the EOS R is that the native RF lenses, they cost a lot of money. At least most of them do. The cheapest RF lens that you can get is the RF 35 f1.8. This lens is the cheapest RF lens that you can get. Now there are plenty of YouTube videos talking detailed testing of this 35mm f1.8, but what I thought I'd do today is take this lens out and do a real shooting with it to see what kind of image it actually gives. And as you can see, I'm using the Canon EOS R for this purpose. To test this lens out, I have to do both photography and videography. I'm not the best photographer, I'm not the best videographer either, but I think I'm better at videography than photography. So have that in mind as you watch this video. If you come from an APS-C system and you hear a 35mm lens, you might not think that this lens is the best lens when it comes to the focal length. What you have to remember is that a 35mm lens on an APS-C Canon camera is an equivalent to a 56mm lens when it comes to the focal length. So when it comes to a full frame 35mm lens, this lens is a really versatile lens. You can use this lens to a lot of things, even vlogging. So let's go test this lens out. So now I'm vlogging with this 10 to 18mm EFS lens on a Canon EOS R, and over there I have my other EOS R with the 35 f1.8 on the Zhiyun Weeble S, and together with the gimbal, stabilization is a lot better than with the EOS R without a gimbal. So yeah, but it's a lot heavier too. My shoulders are killing me. This is the 10-18, which is an equivalent of 16mm right now because I have it at 10. This is a 35mm full frame, and as you can see, you can vlog with this, it's no problem. Me and my sister, we went on a little hike earlier today, and I'm gonna show you some footage from that now. We were just at the pond with me and my sister with my youngest daughter, and yeah, I think the video turned out okay. I think the photos turned out okay, and overall it's a good that way. Overall I think it's a good lens when it comes to focal length. I think the focusing part could be a little bit better. The takes some time for the lens to focus on the right thing. I found myself often pushing the screen, telling the camera what I want to be in focus. So yeah, and right now I'm shooting at 25 frames per second, 1/50th of a shutter speed, C-Log, ISO at 400, and f2.0, and I'm using an ND filter on the camera, on the lens, so I think it looks okay. We get kind of a nice blurry background. If I take the f-stop a little bit higher and then take down the variable ND, I'm now at f9, and see a little bit more of the black background. So overall I think this is a good lens, quite versatile for a lot of things. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see this, but over there, you see that fog? It's kind of like a fog. Over there at the mountains, over there. Looks like a fog, smoke. Actually it looks like rainy clouds, but what that actually is smoke from the fires in California that's traveled all the way over to Norway. And mixed into that smoke is actually some sandstorms from the Sahara Desert. And all of this has traveled all the way to Norway and mixed together, so we get this smoky looking kind of mountains that you see over there. So yeah, this whole world is connected. So that's just a little fun fact. Now, what I have noticed about this lens when it comes to video is that the autofocus works really slow. It's not always accurate. I find myself often pushing on the screen to get what I want in focus. But if you've seen other videos about this lens, you already know why it is a slow focus when it comes to video, and that's because of the noise that this lens makes when it's trying to focus. In photo mode, this lens makes a lot of noise, but in video, the lens slows down the focusing to make it a more quiet focus. So it's both a positive thing and a negative thing. Now, I have had this lens for some weeks now, and I've already used it in one commercial video, and like I said, the focusing thing was the biggest problem with this lens. So when it comes to the focusing part, I'm not super satisfied with the lens, but when it comes to the price of this lens, it is a lot cheaper, but it is a great lens to start off with because of the price when you want to build up your RF collection. So overall, I'm happy with the lens. It is the only RF lens I have at the moment. The other lenses in the RF series costs a lot of money, so I'll probably be using my EFS and EF lenses with the adapter for quite some time. But those lenses with the adapter on the Canon EOS R works great. I think this is a great lens. I think when it comes to price, this is a high value for the money. If you already got a lens in the kit and you want a second lens, I highly recommend the 35mm f1.8. You get a shallow depth of field. The 35mm is a versatile focal length, and yeah, you can do a lot of things with this lens. Even do some vlogging if you want to. So this was not a detailed review of the lens with specs and photo sheets and chromatic aberration and whatnot. There's a ton of videos on YouTube doing that, so I didn't think that was necessary for me. The lens has been out there for some time now, so what I wanted to do, I wanted to give you a real world test on the lens. Try it out in the nature, try out photography, try out videography, and see how it actually worked outside. So that's what I did, and I hope you enjoyed the video. That's it for me this week. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. That will really help me a lot. If you haven't already, please consider hitting the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me. And yeah, maybe I will see you in another video.